I do not ask for these only, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they also may be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given to them, that they may be one, even as we are one. I in them, and you in me, that they may become perfectly one, so that the world may know that you sent me, and love them even as you loved me. Father, I desire that they also, whom you have given me, may be with me where I am, to see my glory that you have given me, because you loved me before the foundation of the world. Here, Jesus prayed for oneness or unity, which is the meaning of atonement, defining it as the glory that you have given me. Why is unity so important? And how is it achieved? Is it not a collective consisting of many with the same spirit and mind? Though we may not realize what we're doing, we spend a great deal of our time seeking to find oneness or unity with others in the various aspects of our existence. Every collective is an attempt to discover unity and exemplify the same spirit and mind as those we align with. But here's the difference. The oneness Jesus prayed for is accomplished by the Father and not by our own devices. And it is a unity based on the unconditional love of the Father and the Son. John wrote, God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. This, my friend, is God's resplendent glory, and the glory which Jesus possessed and desired for his disciples. In 1 John 2:7, John declared, I am writing you no new commandment, but an old commandment that you had from the beginning. The old commandment is the word that you have heard. What was this old commandment that they had from the beginning? John tells us, For this is the message that you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. In part 1 of this series, we explored the concept of God's glory as his inestimable worth. Recognizing that God is love itself, we can conclude that love is the most precious spiritual attribute. Since God is love, then all that has transpired and continues to come to light flows from this divine essence, and this is his ineffable glory. The amazing thing about Jesus' prayer is that he prayed that they may all be one, referring not only to his disciples, but also those who will believe in me through their word. Now, 2,000 years later, we are greatly divided, our oneness almost non-existent. But this is as it should be, for as the creation story reveals, the Lord uses division to produce a witness. Disunity precedes unity. Why? Because it's in our divisions where the things that separate us are brought to light. So, if I may say it, the problem from the very beginning is about what we love. For where our treasure is, that is where our heart will be. This is an indisputable fact. For this reason, our spiritual transition is difficult, for it pits our love for the self against our love for something other than ourself. No wonder Jesus said, the gate is narrow, and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. In this context, life is unity. Jesus recognized that the main characteristic of the self is its desire for independence, a state of being free from the control or influence of others. Independence is self-determination and autonomy, where autonomy is the right or power to make one's own decisions. Does this not surface quite early in our upbringing? And yet, we will never be independent, for our Maker designed an interdependence in all that exists. This is the glory Jesus spoke about and the purpose of self-denial. To deny the self is to acknowledge and embrace our interdependence with the Father, the Son, and each other. What is pride? It is the inordinate or excessive love of the self. And what is the main characteristic of pride? Independence, our failure to see our interdependence, our connection with all things. What good is a song if there is no one to sing to? What good is art if there is no one to show it to? What good are our talents or abilities if they are not shared with others? Interdependence, mutual reliance, codependence, interconnectedness. It saturates our existence, and yet we think we must be independent. Please consider. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living being. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit. Here we see two Adams, and within the context of this passage, we find that the first man, Adam, points to the natural, while the last Adam points to the spiritual. And what might be the difference between them? The key phrase is life-giving spirit. In the first man, Adam, we see the formation of the self, while in the last Adam, we see its death in keeping with the principle of self-denial. First division, followed by a witness. Allow me to emphasize. The death of the self is dying to the pride and independence that stands in the way of our interconnectedness to all things. This is the unity for which Jesus prayed. For our Heavenly Father, who is a life-giving spirit, must give. This is His nature. This is love. This is His glory. Think about it, my friend. If God is love, then God is a giver, for that is the essence of love. After all, what good is love if there is no one or nothing to love? Now, think about this. Why did God, whose power is beyond our ability to comprehend it, declare His love by sending His Son into the world? Could He not have demonstrated His love in some other way? Furthermore, Paul wrote, "But God shows His love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." Does this not shout unconditional? While we were lawbreakers, disobedient and rebellious and seeking our independence, Christ died for us. How could He do this? What was His motivation? Did it not lie in the fact that He was filled with all the fullness of God? Was He not truly one with the Father, especially in love? Christ did not live for Himself. He lived for others. This is the glory of oneness and unity. A life-giving spirit. In spirit, there is no color. In spirit, there is no class. In spirit, there is no political affiliation. In spirit, there is no country, no boundaries, no independence. There is only love. That's it for this study, and I hope that it has enlightened and encouraged you. Please feel free to subscribe or leave your comments. I love hearing from all of you.